Hey, good morning, guys. Just trying to work through the case of the misplaced student. And this is a really interesting topic to me, having a special education student at one point in time, and also having worked alongside paraprofessionals and aides with special ed students in both general ed classroom and an inclusion classroom. And so a couple of things to process for me. I was trying to look at it from the managerial and the instructional side of things, and looking at it from managerial side of things. As the campus manager, I would certainly be concerned about any teacher misconduct, but I would also be concerned about the stability and emotional well-being of my special ed population, my special ed students, and some things that would warrant my close examination would be maybe the documentation or lack thereof in this situation. It's kind of like the aide's word against the teacher's word, and is there any documentation? And so that would be something as a manager I would certainly want to investigate. Also, what type of educational record does the aide have versus that of Mrs. Wintercrest? The case states that her students love her, that she's been there for 9 years, which is a very lengthy time in this day and age for an educator to stay in one place and to make a positive mark. So those would be things that I would consider from a management standpoint. Again, is there anything in written form that confirms these allegations? I'm not in agreement necessarily with Mrs. Wintercrest's removal from the campus pending the investigation. It doesn't really seem to match the accusation for me at this time based on the information on the case, and I think that her removal could actually be detrimental to some of those special ed students that depend on her on a daily basis. I know I watch my paraprofessionals and aides that work with our life skills students. I watch them each morning as those kids arrive, and I see the relationship that they have and how they handle those students, and they have a way to finesse them and to deal with them that possibly a teacher stepping in to take the place of Miss Wintercrest might not be able to do, and it would kind of upset the ecosystem of that population of students, so to speak. So I think that that would definitely be something to consider from a managerial standpoint. Now, obviously, I have to listen to what the parents are saying and have to take those needs into context or into my thinking process, and know that there is possible litigation at hand, and so I would need to consider those things critical. Okay, from an instructional standpoint, on the instructional side of things, I must understand the intended inflow for inclusion classes and for special education classes. So as an instructional leader, I need to fully understand what I've expected of my inclusion teachers and special ed teachers to carry out on campus. And I need to make sure that the educators I entrust with these students understand those responsibilities, and that they understand the importance of meeting the needs of all students in their classroom. Some questions that I might consider would be, does the classroom teacher have the student's IP? Does the classroom teacher understand how that documentation has to be followed? And, what is their educational background? What is their educational track record with special ed students? What training am I providing on an instructional basis to the aides and to my paras to help them facilitate the instruction with the general ed classroom or the inclusion classroom teacher. So those are some things that I would have to, work through on the instructional side. This is really challenging to put myself in this situation and determine how I would handle it and what should be done. So those are my thoughts. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say, and I look forward to learning more. Thanks.